Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us as we went to Huntsville to the Lowe Mill Arts and Entertainment Center. We've gathered together here in the print shop again. If you haven't tried it out, you need to come support the print shop in the Depot District here in Smyrna and come see Jason. We're gathered here to actually continue the conversation with some of our local leadership to look at what we learned and then open up the conversation with you, our public, so that we can get your feedback, your ideas. What things should we incorporate? What things should we learn from our trips? And how can we make Smyrna's arts and culture scene an amazing arts and culture scene, just like the places that we've been? So I'm here with Teresa Kiernan Alley, who is a business owner of Trellis and Vine. She actually introduced me to the Lowe Mill Arts and Entertainment Center, and it is actually what inspired her to come back to Smyrna and create Trellis and Vine. She's going to be able to give insight of what Lowe Mill did to inspire what she's doing. And then we're here with Mr. Phil Wilson, who is one of our county commissioners for the area of Smyrna. How long have you been here in Smyrna?
30 years. Remember, I actually came here for arts. I came here to attend MTSU from Oklahoma as a recording industry management major, one of the few schools in the country that offered that.
Wow.
So I was brought here for the very reasons and things we're talking about. And I've stayed in the community because it's so arts rich.
Yeah.
How we became acquainted was we were doing music together. He was doing music professionally, so he brings that amazing perspective of how it can affect our community. From the things that we saw, what inspired you to do what you're doing now?
Well, I'll share briefly that in my corporate job, I went to Huntsville a lot, and a coworker of mine who actually is Corinna, who you met in the video, she had her stuff in the gallery at that point in time, and I got to go and see the beautiful gallery, the amazing old mill building turned into thriving art district, and it was really inspiring. And that was when the wheels really started turning of, whoa, look at this old mill building that has been turned into basically as an arts incubator and community generator. And that just kind of struck a chord with me. My husband and I were thinking about what his next step in his career was going to be about that time. He studied chemistry, he was a chemist in research and development, but to move forward, we would probably have to leave the area. And as we were mulling over what kind of, do we want to leave? And he'd been doing some leather working and really enjoying that as a hobby and thinking, well, maybe I can make this into a career, or maybe there's a market for this and we could supplement our income in some way. We participated in the farmers market and love the community that's developed there every Saturday morning in the summer. It's an amazing group of people that come together. It's amazing for the community. And then we thought, what if we brought some of what's going on in Lowe Mill to what's already happening with the farmers market and create something that can be kind of evergreen for our community in the arts incubator of Trellis and Vine.
And you got a good start. You guys have been there for what, 2.5 years?
2.5 years now, yes.
So, and helping to drive some things for the community. We just recently did a mural.
Yeah.
Added a new mural on the back of Trellis and Vine, which has become part of a new walking arts tour.
Yeah. We compiled a list of all of the public art that's in this area. We're at 13, 14 public art just in the Depot District that's already there. So a lot of what we're doing is trying to connect people in the community to the art that's already going on. Our space has a retail boutique area of all local handmade artisan goods. We have a gallery space that changes out every month or every other month with local artists who get to showcase their work. And then the back space is really our gem. It's the thing that we started the whole thing for, is essentially the Lowe Mill in a small footprint. We have small little studios, co-working spaces, business incubator for artists to come and have their studio here in downtown Smyrna.
In doing that, just like Lowe Mill, they created a space for artists to actually pursue their art
Mm-hmm.
and create economic viability for
Yes.
their art in the community. And Phil, you've seen some things happen in our community.
Absolutely. Just as of last year, we can report that in Rutherford County alone, arts and arts-related entertainment and opportunity created over $52 million in economic activity. That is a stunning number.
Let me quantify that because it's based only on nonprofit arts activity.
That's right.
Not for-profit arts activity, which is what yours is. Imagine if there was more intentionality of the investment of resource as far as venues, as far as spaces. Imagine how that could explode if we invested more of our resource to foster that.
And Ron, you could be more correct. During my first year in office, we're going through a comprehensive plan update in the county. I know the cities do that, we're doing that as a county. The very first thing I ever said is, their question is, what's something you think would make a massive impact in the county we don't have? I said a performing arts center. The way that you fund your local economy is you need to keep people spending money in your city and in your county. Where we're at now with economic activity is nothing compared to when we actually start bringing folks in from Williamson County, from Davidson County, from Wilson, all surrounding counties to come in for entertainment. We're getting your artists exposed.
Yes.
They're selling product. Right now, we're at the ground floor of what I think the right investment could be a massive return. Not only for the municipalities, just through money coming in, sales tax. Let me go ahead and take this opportunity to talk about education and the arts.
I know you're passionate about
I
that.
am. I've had the opportunity to be the vice chairman of health and education for the county for 3 years. I'm really an arts enthusiast. So I've been able to carry that banner of what arts does in education, that it's not just STEM, it's STEAM. In that what makes STEM work is all the things the arts bring in education.
You talk about STEM. Huntsville's an incredible place where you've got engineers and you've got artists.
Yeah.
And you see the impact of that right there in Lowe Mill. If we develop the arts, that goes back into our whole economy of science, development. We've got Nissan right around the corner. You need creative thinkers to bring the auto industry into the future. You need creative thinkers to be a part of the community and to bring their creativity.
So Danny Davis, that we interviewed, the luthier, said he was a scientist for NASA. He's taken his engineering into building some amazing instruments. It's what I call creative pools. We need creative pool. You develop that through your education system and also your local environment and the opportunities that you create so that industry doesn't have to go outside of your municipality to actually find the innovators that they need to make their businesses excel.
You know what? We have a lot of engineers in town that are former musicians or singers. All those kids I taught lessons to. I mean, the truth is, I put out more engineers than I put out drummers.
That's incredible.
Because I'm not steering them into anything more than what they want to do, but the process of the lessons were to teach them how to creatively think, how to deal with pressure, how to improvise, how to work with a group on the spot. Don't you want your engineers to have that? The parents are just as invested in their children in the arts. Rutherford County Schools is one of the most arts-rich music departments, arts, theater, culinary, which is helping these kids. It's giving them the skills that they need to be able to go to the next level in any field. We have thousands of people that are just loving any opportunity they have to go witness the arts. The Center for the Arts, other things we have in the county, constantly have people coming. They need bigger space. In Smyrna alone, the vision that you've had for several years on what you could bring here, no one knows how many musicians live in this town. The music industry is thriving in Williamson County and Davidson County, but a lot of those touring artists, production employees and warehouses, they're in Rutherford County. You employ some of them actually as teachers in your schools. And who doesn't like creating revenue to keep property taxes down from the arts? That's the best way to get it.
What, 68% of what's spent in the community stays in the community?
One of the things that I see, we don't have enough of those venues. A lot of those students that are graduating are having to go outside of our community to actually find jobs in entertainment and the arts.
When we visited Huntsville, Corinna shared that she went to California to pursue her art and came back to Huntsville because what Huntsville had to offer.
We've got to do a better job of creating the venues and the spaces for them to actually create, to develop those careers right here.
It sounds to me like you're also talking about the principle of workforce. I've had this conversation with our Chamber of Commerce, who does an excellent job. They're very supportive of the arts and understand its place. Developing a workforce, that's the number one thing we need to be able to thrive. We want our kids to stay here as much as possible. Families want to stay close together. We need the opportunities in the future for them. One way to keep people here is to have jobs, venues, entertainment. One of the things the town of Smyrna says is you got to be a place to live, work, and play. And here, with what we're talking about, this actually encompasses all three of those things.
Teresa is also on the Arts and Culture Advisory Committee for the town, trying to help define 3 and 5 and 10-year directions for arts and cultural development.
I'll just take a second to talk a little bit about Roundabout Smyrna and what we're doing with the
that'd
Arts
be
and
great,
Culture Committee.
yeah.
We put out a survey a few years ago asking the community, what do you want from us? What do you need here in Smyrna? And what we heard was, we need to know what's going on. We need to know where to go to be part of the things that are happening. And so what we're doing today, that's what we're doing with the Arts and Culture Committee, is we're trying to create a place where you can go to find out what's happening.
Roundabout Smyrna is a website that we hope will eventually become the place where everyone goes to find out about anything happening in Smyrna related to arts and culture first, but then it'll also have even sports events scheduled.
And we need engagement there. We need you to show up, to tell us what else you want to see, to share this with other people, to come out to the events that are going on. We need to create engagement so that we can continue to build this vision that we're talking about today.
Please help us build the awareness of Roundabout Smyrna.
It really enhances your life. We have an opportunity for adults to venture out into things to find their inner artist, to find their creative outlet. So that helps with mental health. If you want to have an arts district thrive, you need people, and you need people to live in that area. And I'll end with this, Ron. I couldn't think of a better addition to our local community. We have the new Seward's Landing space that's coming.
Sure.
That's going to create such a massive economic impact. It's not just jobs. It's bringing people to our community. Their sales tax dollars stay here. Those keep your property taxes low. I mean, Nashville has built its entire economy around visitors coming in and spending money. We have no state income tax. We fund it off sales tax. That tourism is a big way to do that. I would love to see an investment made the same as it was in Seward's Landing to be made into something with the arts. We have retail, shopping, we have 2 hotels. What's a better complement to that than some place for those guys to go where they can view art, they can see a show, hear a local band, probably hang out with some touring professionals while they're off the road in those same venues and have a great conversation. There's no better place than right here in the town of Smyrna.
And that flows right into the plan from about, 8 years ago with the Lowry Street that developed an identity around the Depot District and 2 other districts, the Airport District and the Automobile District. Smyrna needs to capitalize on bringing tourism to those districts, the development of those districts, and bringing people into those districts.
With the amount of growth that's coming to the area, I cannot think of a better time to start making plans for this than right now.
You have the opportunity for input here. You have the opportunity to have a voice. That's why we're doing this. In this blog, give us your input. Help us have ideas for developing that comprehensive plan, for developing the future for the town of Smyrna with arts and culture. Comment right here and we'll see it and we'll start those conversations. Thanks for joining us.